Bonjour and welcome to a new unboxing video, and today we've got, well, there's a pile of things here, as you can see, because it's and you can actually already guess what it is, and it is something we've spoken about before. It's produced by McFarlane. I mean, I'm not always a huge fan of McFarlane, as you know, but sometimes when he gets it right, well, he gets it right. And I have to admit that his superpowers line is really great fun, and mostly what's interesting is that he actually changed something in the superpowers line. He actually changed the size ever so slightly, which now makes the line a bit more compatible with the previous superpowers line that was released in the 80s. So we do have the new wave here. I mean, that's the new wave, which is the wave 4, I think. And a lot of them sadly are variants, because I mean it's a necessary evil, because if you do variants it costs less money and then you can do more figures. I mean, that's how it works. So it's a bit frustrating, because I mean, as a superpowers fan, I'd rather have other characters than Batman and Superman, but what can you do? But this wave 4 is still pretty good, because we do have a variant of Wonder Woman, we do have a very nice variant of Batman. They've changed quite a few things as well with capes. We do have a new character. We do have Robin, and it's the Tim Drake version of Robin, which is nice. We do have Aquaman, and we do have a villain, because they also always try to put a villain. And in the US, the villain is exclusive to Walmart, and in other countries you can find it from some retailers. It's not easy to find, but you do have Black Manta, with, of course, Aquaman's own villain. So we're going to open those. Well, except for Black Manta. The reason why we're not going to open Black Manta is because I've already opened a Black Manta, so but we'll get to it when we get to it. So let's start by checking. We're going to start with Batman, because here is Batman. So basically it's the same kind of blister as before. You still have in the back the little biography. You do have the range of characters. So you see they're starting to have quite a few characters now, which is really nice. We've got 12 characters and there's more to come. And we do have the 2 new vehicles, which I will do in a separate video, the Batmobile and Wonder Woman's invisible plane, which I'm extremely impatient to open and check with you guys. So here you go. Let's try by opening this one. And let's see, we still have the problem, because if you remember in the first wave, because I had covered the first wave, they actually stitched, or they had stuck the cape. Well, the cape is still stuck in the plastic, but at least it's not stitched in, so there is no hole. And the interesting thing here is that they have actually changed the fabric of the cape, because in the first wave the cape was very plasticky, whereas this is much closer to what they were doing in the 80s. Of course, it's a bit, because it's been in the package, it's a bit well, it would need to be ironed a bit, but I'm not going to iron Batman's cape. So here you go. We do have the new Batman, which looks more like a cartoon version of Batman, which is great. As with the previous one, he does have 7 points of articulation, which are the legs, the legs, yes, of course, the legs, the knees, the hips, the arms, and the head. And as before, I don't know how easy it's going to be to remove. It's actually easier than before. They changed the design of the cape. You can actually remove the cape. Sadly, as I said, I don't have the previous Batman to compare it with, but the previous Batman was definitely taller than this. I do have one of the Power Stars The power stars are exactly the same scale as the old superpower, and if I put a power star next to it, you will notice that it is really the same scale, which is really good news, because that was the issue with the previous waves. They were ever so slightly too big to go with the previous wave. So we're going to put back the cape on Batman's shoulders, see how difficult it is. I'm still not entirely convinced by the way they attach the cape. I think the old capes from Kenner are still far superior in the way they could be attached. So because you've got those flaps here, of course you can actually bend back the flaps, but it still looks a little bit odd, but at least it's so much better than the previous Batman. It's really a very, very, very cool figure. Just showing you the details. The colors are fantastic. This is very much a Filmation Hanna-Barbera style colors. I mean, you could have seen him in the Superpower cartoon exactly in those colors. So that's actually a very, very cool one. Then, because it's already open, I'm going to show you Black Manta. So Black Manta, as I said, I'm not opening it because I've already got him out. It's the same blister, so I'm not going to show you the blister, but here is Black Manta, and he actually looks fantastic. He does have a moving head. I mean, the cables are actually flexible enough that you can turn his head, and here you go. I'm going to show you. He looks really like the cartoon version. He's perfect. And basically same thing, you do have the 7 point of articulation. It really looks cool, and we do have some villains, which is nice because some people complain there's not enough villain. We're going to go for the other variant, which is Wonder Woman. So you do have new art for Wonder Woman here. It's very similar to the previous one. I don't know if she is slightly shorter or the same, but of course, well, she's slightly shorter than the male characters anyway. Colors are really nice. I think it looks better than the previous one, even though it's the same sculpt. But I think the colors are much nicer, and the face is really nice. I'm not quite sure. Like the previous version, I wasn't quite sure that the face sculpt was very much a superpower sculpt or a generic DC sculpt, but it works, so I'm not going to complain. It may not be as cartoony as, let's say, Batman here, but it works, so no complaints here. Same thing, of course. I'm not going to do that because it's a bit of oh yes, well, I can do it actually, because you can of course remove her cape like Batman. So let's see. It's a bit more difficult because of the hair. So here you go. Here she is without the cape, and she actually looks a lot better without the cape. I mean, I'm not quite sure why they thought a cape was a better idea than the lasso. But I mean, maybe they will do another version of Wonder Woman. And you see now the difficulty is putting back the cape because of her hair. So let's see if I can do it. As I said, it's not very practical with her hair, but let's see what we can do. It should really work. Yes, here we go. Well, nearly. Still not quite. I'll sort that later, because I mean, we're not going to waste more time putting her cape back. the correct way, but she does look really, really good. And now we've got two more characters, which are the new characters. We've got Robin. So Robin is the Team Drake version. Interestingly enough, he's got a yellow cape. I'm saying interestingly enough because I know there's a variant plan with a black cape. So here is Robin. So he looks really cool. As I said earlier, I still think they've still got some problem with the designs of the cape. I mean, they could do something a bit. The way it falls on the shoulder is a bit weird, but he looks great. He really looks really great. We're going to remove the cape so that you can see the sculpt better. It's actually a pretty decent Robin. Of course, he's got the 7 points of articulation like the others. It's very, very colorful. And let's see if it's easy to put his cape back, as it's I mean, as I said, it's better than what they had done for the first wave with those plastic capes that were absolutely dreadful. But I think they still need to work on those capes a little bit. Let's compare, because of course we do have Batman and Robin, and of course he's actually shorter than Batman, which is great because he's supposed to be a teenager. So we do have one last one to show you, and it is Aquaman. I have to admit it's a strange version of Aquaman because it seems to be partly based on the New 52 Aquaman, but not quite. It's got the beard. They don't know if he wants to have long hair or short hair. He is the king of the sea, so he does have his trident. He looks actually very, very cool. I'm not quite sure about the hair, but oddly enough, I think he looks better like this than in the pack. So we've got, of course, his classic orange and green costume with the fins on the back of the legs. And we're going to see if we can fit him with his... Okay, that's good because the hands are actually flexible. Excuse me. So you can actually give him his trident, put it in his hand. So that's really cool. Unlike the original superpowers, though they have no action features, but they are really cool. I think there is a distinct improvement over the previous wave. So just showing you again, we do have Aquaman, we do have a 1970s classic Batman, we do have Team Drake Robin, we do have a, I would say, 1970s color Wonder Woman, and of course we do have Black Manta. So that's all figures for this wave. I will do another video which might be in a week or two, I'm not quite sure, with the invisible plane and with the Batmobile, so that you can have the complete wave with the vehicle. And of course they've already announced that there will be a wave 5. The wave 5 is going to be interesting because we do have I think it's Thomas Wayne Batman from Flashpoint. We do have a black costume 1980s movie Batman. There is the aforementioned variant of Robin. That's 3. There is a variant of Superman, and there is a Reverse Flash. There is a variant of Flash. There is a Nightwing. That's going to be a big wave. And the interesting thing is they're doing a 3-pack with basically Vigilante and Peacemaker and Judo Master. So that's going to be interesting to see at last characters that are not Batman or Superman. And there will be a vehicle which I can't remember, when I think it's called the Twirly Copter or something like that. It's like a mini Batman helicopter. So, but But that will be for probably in a few months, because those are not out yet. Anyway, I will leave you to it, and well, hopefully pretty soon, Batmobile and the Invisible Plane. Bye!